Hello and welcome to some of my friends read comics. We've got Chris.
You can cram your mercy.
Oh, we've got Vince.
That's me Morse coding my best
Morse
friend's
coding.
name. I'm Morse coding my best friend's name, so he'll be able to fix me from paralysis in one issue.
That's good to know. Good to know. You gotta have a friend who can fix you from paralysis. A good thing Batman does. Hi, I'm Kia. Welcome to the show. We're reading some Batman. It's a classic Batman story. Possibly the greatest Batman story ever told. It's Hush by Jeph Loeb and Jim Lee. That's how you know I was lying. We got Hush coming up. Woo!
It's the best because it has all the things from the other Batman stories you like.
It's got every character. Everyone shows up. That's what you want to see, right?
It is. I don't know if you're joking, but yes, that's what I want to see.
That's we'll talk all about it. Here, but,
yeah. I think we've done a lot of Jeph Loeb year-long stuff, and I think I have the highest tolerance for these things compared to you two. Because he did Long Halloween. We did Dark Victory by him. Those were both Tim Sale books.
Yeah.
And this is another year-long Batman book where he meets every villain through a weird long mystery all year. But yeah, here we are, and I quite like these.
Yeah. Like Vince said, this is 12 issues. We're only doing the first 6 today. We're gonna do the other 6 next time. This was in Batman 608 through 619. So we're doing 608 through 613 this time, from around 2002 here. And of course, we are continuing our long read of Thunderbolts. We're on issue number 11 over there. So we'll do that at the end. But yeah, Hush. Chris, you were going to say something about it? What were you going to say?
We'll get into it.
All right, we'll get into it.
I'll save all my Hush thoughts until we're actually talking about the book. But I think Vince might be on an island on this.
And is there anything we really need to know going into this? No, you just got to know who Batman is, and you got to know who's got a rogues gallery. That's about it.
Have you played Batman Arkham Asylum? Because it's 10 times stupider than that, but it's all the same.
But I mean, there's some interesting things happening on. I mean, it's in the actual ongoing. It's not like a standalone series, which is I think interesting. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's in continuity.
It is lightly in continuity. They had to change some stuff, and then they had to retcon some stuff. But yes, they gave Jim Lee a running head start of probably 7 or 8 months to get ahead of this. So
I was going to ask if this took 3 years to come out. Was going to be my follow-up question.
They put it. That was the big thing. They put it out relatively on time. They put all these issues out. And it, Brian Azzarello, just from good to great, immediately followed up after this Hush storyline. So they basically, it was a monthly book. It sold a lot of issues, and then it's been in reprints for 20 years now, which is, it's a success.
It's a big success.
They made an animated movie of it. I think they were always threatening to do it as a movie. I always hear people be like, "Oh, it'd be so cool if Robert Pattinson met Hush, or Ben Affleck met Hush." They've been talking for about 20 years. Christian Bale meeting Hush, but
I will say I don't remember who Hush is. Don't spoil it.
He's not important at all in these first 6 issues.
He's really not. I mean, he's a dude in the shadows, and that's kind of it. I love a dude in the shadows.
Who could it be? Jeph Loeb, this great writer that he is, he's so good at seeding a mystery. It could be anyone.
Could be anyone.
I mean, it really could be. It's like I'm going to cause some shout. Only Murders in the Building. They don't know who their bad guy is until the final episode or issue, and I feel like that's how this works too. It's just this is a bad mystery.
Yeah. But let's jump into it. We got part 1.
I don't think that's true, Vince.
Okay. On this one or on Only Murders in the Building?
We'll get to it. Oh, Only Murders in the Building. That's what you said. I don't know what I heard.
The Steve Martin short show, which is fun, but its mystery is not satisfying.
And Hush is in it? Hush is the bad guy?
Yeah, Hush is the bad guy.
Hush.
Yeah. You think it's going to be Tina Fey, but turns out it's Hush.
Okay, That's pretty cool. All right, so part 1, The Ransom, starts with Alfred recapping the origin of Batman, because nobody ever starts a run without it. Then Batman is saving some boy who's been kidnapped for ransom. Oh, just my age. I went out when my parents were killed. He's fighting some goons. He fights Killer Croc. He's like, Killer Croc can't be in charge of like a ransom deal. He's too stupid for that.
This is how he like tries to put. Is this a wrestling term? Like put one over? Like he's like, man, this villain is normally like lame, but today they're really tough. That's crazy.
Vince,
what's going on? I got
putting one over is when you trick someone.
That's not the term.
Okay.
Getting him over or putting him over is like making him a big deal. But Killer Croc does not get over in this scene. He still loses.
He's still a loser.
They're not pushing Killer Croc. They're not like, oh, watch out for Killer Croc. Like, no, he's immediately like, meh. Even though Jim Lee draws him like he's 12 feet tall, which again, the Arkham Asylum games, they clearly, read this and then like hit themselves in the head with a mallet or something to be even dumber. And they're like, perfect. This is the right level.
I will also say, Vince, this is kind of the opposite of putting him over. He kind of buries Killer Croc by saying he's just a jobber. He's got to be working for somebody else. He's not capable of this plan on his own, So during the fight, Catwoman takes the ransom money and kind of sees her. And he's like, all right, I'm going after her. But it's also like, this is not her style either. She's not like a ransom person. And somebody cuts Batman's rope. And so Catwoman's able to essentially shake him, but he falls down next to some gangs in the slums, and he's hurt badly.
Was it a gang or was it just homeless people?
I thought it seemed like a gang because they were like
seem
really,
like
yeah, they're like, oh, look what we got here,
But it's like Ninja Turtle style gang.
Him.
Yeah.
Also, Arkham Asylum and all of those Batman games have trained me. Like, why is Batman immediately defeated by this? It doesn't make any sense. That he's like, oh no, my bat rope failed. Guess I'm gonna die.
Yeah, usually you just get to reload a save.
Well, yeah, and you also have like your little your little bat cape slows down your fall and stuff. But he's just like, nope, that's it. Fall and die.
Yeah, fallen dead, paralyzed. That was quick.
That's because somebody cut his rope.
Yeah, he didn't see it. He wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah.
Yep. He didn't have his bat gliding cowl.
They don't even. Also, I don't think the word "hush" appears anywhere in this first 6 issues. By the way.
No, Catwoman says it.
Yes.
Oh.
When they're in the opera.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
That was not hush.
Setting it up as her catchphrase that she says "hush" a lot.
Okay. First issue, by the way, barely anything happens. It ends with Catwoman taking the money to poison Ivy. She's the one maybe in charge.
Yeah, this is just setting up that it's like a villain team up. That you have Catwoman, who is not a villain at this point. She is in a monthly comic drawn by Darwin Cook with Ed Brubaker, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is Ed Brubaker doing Batman right before this run also?
Yes.
Okay.
Like
they went from Brubaker to this?
Yes. Batman was good right before this.
Yeah. Hey, people think this is good, It sold better than Brubaker's.
It did
right?
sell
that
better.
That means it's better.
They're not adapting Ed Brubaker's things into direct animated movies.
No, they're doing movies out of his Captain America.
Did they make the Bruce Wayne murderer into a movie? I feel like that's the kind of thing they might have.
Animated, maybe. I don't know. I mean, this also just feels very much like Dark Victory or Long Halloween, just with different art. Because it's like Batman fighting a villain, and then suddenly and now we're gonna go to the Poison Ivy, and everything's covered in plants. Like it's very thematically like art around their backgrounds and stuff. So it feels different art, but similar.
It also spends the whole issue with a fight with Killer Croc that is not particularly interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like Long Halloween and Dark Victory.
So part 2, The Friend. Batman is basically dead. Oracle calls for someone to help him, and Huntress shows up.
Hell yeah.
There's a lot of fighting there.
Huntress has decided to, I guess, take apart her costume. This was Jim Lee redesign where she just doesn't wear a shirt anymore.
Okay.
She just wears just like a bra and like sides of clothes.
Yep.
Yep.
Hey, but look, she's got thigh-high socks, thigh-high boots also.
That's safe.
Yeah.
I don't know. This was a strange choice.
Yeah.
Especially like this is the character, they're like, oh, like after No Man's Land, like Batman hates me, blah blah blah. But you're like, but they don't actually say any of that. They're just like, oh no, Batman's not gonna like this. No explanation.
Yep. Huntress puts him in the Batmobile, and it kind of auto drives him back to the Batcave. And we have a masked figure watching from the rooftop, saying some line about having friends. Who is this guy? Who is this guy? Then we see Alfred operating on Bruce in the Batcave, but this is beyond his capabilities. So Oracle has contacted Dr. Chandra Kinsolving.
Hey, we know her.
Friend of the show. Yeah, what series was she in?
She was in the Bane Breaking the Back.
Yeah, she was in Bane.
Yeah, she's the Indian doctor who helps Bruce Wayne when he gets his back broken.
Yes. But Alfred says she's not right in the head. And Oracle's like, she got better. And she says, okay, I'll have Dick wreck the Porsche to make the backstory for what's going on with him, why he's hurt. And Alfred's like, no, this is Bruce's fight to win. They're not going to contact Dr. Kinsolving, I guess. They're still going to put out that Porsche story. That gets
I love that. I love that every time. Yeah. Like, oh, you know that Bruce Wayne. Just always
Bruce Wayne.
Always wrecking his Porsches.
Always falling into paralysis. But then Bruce starts tapping his finger there. And it's Morse code. And Alfred's like, what's that, boy? What are you tapping? Thomas? But that's your dead father's name. You're crazy, Bruce. Wait a minute. Thomas Elliot? What?
Your best friend that we all know?
Is this the first reference to Thomas Elliot ever? Oh my God.
It's so stupid.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I'll say throughout this whole series, we get flashbacks to Bruce and Thomas Elliot growing up and being best friends together. Did you know Bruce Wayne had a best friend?
I did.
Did you know? Now
we see Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne's story starts when his parents are murdered, and maybe disappointing his dad, so he feels a little guiltier, like earlier, like him loving his dad. We don't know anything about his life. This is an untapped world. Jeph Loeb has just found a whole new realm of stories. The
adventures of young Bruce. We're not going to find out how they became friends. No. But we're gonna see plenty. Look,
he had a rich kid friend also.
He had a rich kid friend.
That's also like a fancy.
And they play Stratego or something.
Yeah, they have like some kind of antique chess type game with war pieces that they like to play together. Yeah. It doesn't seem
Stratego come out because they talk about like the spy and stuff. Like I feel like that's the only game that they could be talking about.
Stratego is old.
Stratego, but the board game was definitely old when I played it, like in the mid-90s. Like our boxes were old.
So Stratego was 1942.
Okay.
But I will say that at some point later in the series, Tommy is like, you still have those. He calls them antique pieces. It's like an antique game of some. Ooh, hold on. The game is I'm looking at the Wikipedia for Stratego here. The game is a slightly modified copy of an early 20th century French game named L'Attaque. So this is probably
I like that.
Playing. Yeah, they were playing L'Attaque.
That.
Where were we?
So he's got a friend, and his friend is honestly like, Batman, Bruce Wayne, you're stupid because you never think about what your enemies are doing. You're only thinking about blah blah blah. And I'm like, this is weird that this guy is just shit talking Batman. I thought he's the world's greatest detective.
That is our first introduction to the character of Tommy.
Which I guess it's to demonstrate that he's smarter than Batman because he could possibly be the dude in the shadows that we're still looking at.
Yeah. I mean, that does kind of the whole time you're meant to, I think like, oh, this mystery dude from Bruce's past, and there's a mystery dude in the shadows. What's going on? So yeah, they're remembering this scene. Blah blah blah. Yeah, Bruce, you always attack without knowing your opponent's weakness. What are you doing, man? And it's weird, this scene too, where Bruce's parents are watching him from the balcony or like the upstairs, and like, oh, our son finally has a best friend. Yeah, the type of friend you have for years and years and years. I'm like, what? What are y'all talking about, man?
I feel like I'm okay. Go ahead.
I like that they point out in the page how stupid that is. Cause like they're like brothers, they never fight, and they're like, actually, brothers do fight. Like, yeah, whatever. They're like brothers.
I feel like I'm too cavalier with my kids' friends. I'm like, no, they're pre-K. They're not gonna ever see each other again. Like that's fine. Like we're not talking about they're gonna be best friends forever. Like they're gonna go to different elementary schools and then different middle schools and different high schools and different colleges. Like it's very doubtful these children will stay together for the rest of their lives. They're gonna be best friends forever. They're 6, and he's negging him the whole time.
Yeah, they are fighting. Whatever. So back in the real world, Bruce has recovered. He barely survived, and he's kind of thinking, oh, if it hadn't been for Alfred, if it hadn't been for Tommy, if it hadn't been for Huntress, if it hadn't been for Oracle, if it hadn't been for someone cutting the bat rope, who was it?
I guess the Batman is crippled storyline is over. We can cross that off.
Yeah, he's pretty instantly healed. I was like, I don't remember him being kind of hurt throughout. No, he was just like instantly fine again.
It's really bad writing. Yeah, it's unbelievable how stupid it is.
So part 3, The Beast. Batman is trying to talk to Killer Croc at Arkham. And Killer Croc is losing touch with humanity. He just wants his cut of the money, and he busts loose. And Batman loses him, but it was on purpose. He wants Killer Croc to lead them to the money. Amanda Waller is there. She doesn't like it. He says, you got till midnight, Batman. Dr. Elliot then shows up at Wayne Manor while Bruce is out. Alfred is like, oh, sorry, he's not home. He's out chasing women. You know that, Bruce? Dr. Elliot says that this is a dangerous game he's playing. He should be in bed alone instead of going out. Does this guy know he's Batman? No, I don't know. And then Alfred remembers when Tommy's parents got in a car crash. And Bruce's dad operated on both of them, and Bruce promised Tommy it'd be fine. And Bruce's dad managed to save Tommy's mom's life, but not his dad's life. And Tommy called Bruce a liar and punched him. Oh, these two were such great friends.
They're like
Batman,
brothers.
Just like brothers.
Definitely not going to come back and like harm this guy ever.
You told me my dad would not die after the car crash, so I'm going to get my revenge on Batman.
I'm fucking 6. I have no control over this situation. I was just trying to give you some hope.
Batman follows the tracking signal on Killer Croc, but someone shoots out a wheel on the Batmobile, knocks it right off, and he talks about how well armored the wheels are and the kind of material. Somebody really had to want to make sure he lost Killer Croc.
Because those tires are filled with like petroleum jelly, which I guess is how presidential motorcades are filled too.
What?
Which if this was a video game, it would have been Deadshot that did this instead of no one.
Yeah, nobody did it. We didn't even see like Hush on the rooftop or something being like, smiling at it. Like nobody. Then what do we have? Croc goes to Ivy's hangout and finds Catwoman there. There's no Ivy. There's no money. Killer Croc is mad, so they start fighting. And then Batman shows up to put Killer Croc down. And he's like, hey, Killer Croc, it's past midnight. You have to trust me, or else, shit's going to get real bad for you. I'm going to take care of you. And Croc's like, but that money was to fix me. I'm going crazy. And then the FBI shows up and very quickly catches Killer Croc in a net. Because it's after midnight and it's off Batman's jurisdiction. So they're like, we don't care. Done.
Case
very,
closed.
Very efficient. Honestly, I don't think they need Batman if they're capable of doing this. You know what I mean? Like, this is better than anything Batman's ever... Yeah.
Batman almost got killed by those punks in the last issue.
Cut his rope and he's basically dead. Then Batman sees a dude in the shadows on another rooftop. And then we get a caption. This is for the next week. Batman looks for Poison Ivy's clues. And then he meets up with Catwoman on a rooftop to tell her Ivy's in Metropolis. And they share a kiss. For the next couple of issues, Batman's like, oh my God, I kissed Catwoman. And it's all he can think about. Haven't they kissed before this? Was this their first kiss ever?
I can't imagine.
It can't be. Spends a lot of time thinking about this. It's
They do try to, because when he looks over to where Hush is, there's a big advertisement like Robin Roberts today on the Today Show or something where it just says Robin, because that's the fake cat that we'll get more of as we go.
I will say this issue I think is kind of where I realize okay, this is kind of what I dislike about this. It's simultaneously moving too fast and too slow, where it's trying to give you all these little nuggets of all the villains, but it moves past it all just a little too fast for it to be actually satisfying in any way. And it's also not pushing the main story very well in any way that's satisfying. So the whole thing ends up just feeling like, all right, we're just kind of going through the motions here,
right?
You know?
And like, yeah, people. It's funny to me. People online. I looked at responses to the story 20 years later. People are like, "Oh, well, it's got a great characterization of Batman." I'm like, "What characterization? Like, it's literally just like, oh, I planned for this. Like, that's all it is. That's literally the entire
good. That's great.
I think it's not. I would say it's not a great characterization of Batman, but it is kind of a great. I don't care about Batman, and I just want a simple Batman story that I can read and follow. You know what I mean?
Yes,
because it does give you. It's the Batman greatest hits, which is what Jeph Loeb is good at. You know.
But it's no character at all. Like Batman Begins comes out 2 or 3 years later, and it's just like, oh yeah, this is like a human being, and you can actually play it as a person. This is like so silly.
No, I don't think you're wrong, but I also feel like he is like I always like. Even like I always say, like I like a Spider-Man comic that I could just read drunk on the beach, and this is a book that I could read drunk on the beach and have a good time.
This is a beach read. This is a beach read for sure.
Very much. But I mean, Vince, if that's what you want, just read All-Star Batman and Robin. It's even better.
If you want a beach read,
because that one's confusing. Because you're like, why are we suddenly following Black Canary for an issue? I thought Batman was in this. You know.
That's true. This book doesn't forget that Batman is the protagonist.
No, if you want a beach read, you need some rom-coms. You need some Jodi Picoult. You need some, what do you need?
All those.
JD, yeah, all those. Some
Nora
mysteries.
Roberts.
Easy mysteries. Nora Roberts. Yeah, get her in there.
Yep.
Wait, they're the same person, aren't they? JD Robb is Nora Roberts. Yeah.
My favorite thing you ever told me was at the bookstore where Nora Roberts, and I don't remember which was the real person, Nora Roberts or JD Robb, but
I think both of them are pen names.
Yeah. But they wrote a book together, and so it's there's a picture of both of them on the back of the book. Like, because I think JD Robb has like sunglasses or something and like a black leather coat.
A leather jacket. She's cool. Because she writes mystery. Yeah. They did one together. I couldn't believe it. I loved it. I never read it, but I loved that it existed. All right, on to I wonder do any of the comic book writers have like alternate? I know in like the Stan Lee days, you know, people had different names. Sometimes they'd use, right?
Yeah. What's Stephen King's son's name?
Joe Hill.
Joe Hill, yeah.
He writes comics and novels.
They
wrote Lock and Key. We've covered that.
Oh, that's right. Yep. That was him.
Yeah. So yeah, if Joe Hill met Stephen King, that would be an interesting team up. I guess he is just Joe Hillstrom King.
That's his name. He is, yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be. Joe Hill didn't want to be associated with his father or like right on his coattails. So instead, he wrote books about alcoholic dads in books in the Northeast America.
Yeah, exactly like Stephen King, but he doesn't have King in the.
Hey, he's not riding on his dad's coattails at all.
Yeah.
And I like Joe Hill. And the Black Phone was his also. The Ethan Hawke movie from a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I heard that was good. I didn't see it. Anyway, the fourth issue. Don't forget the mystery. We got to figure out who this Hush character.
All right, so part 4, The City. Bruce goes to Metropolis to track down Poison Ivy. He's going as Bruce, but he can't stop thinking about Selina. He runs into Tommy over there.
I can't stop thinking about Selina also. Selina.
I am amazed how often he runs into Tommy and how often easily remembered Tommy and easily got back into contact with Tommy after we haven't seen him for
like if I was the world's greatest detective, I'd be like, somebody like has been trying to sabotage my life recently. It's weird that we just reconnected, Tommy. That's probably nothing.
Well, although I will also say Bruce just thought of Tommy on his own, separately from anything. Did he have an immediate sort of suspicion, like somebody cut my rope? Tommy, maybe?
That's true. He did bring him in, but then, like now, because we've never seen him before, and the last 3 issues were just like, it's all about this guy we never knew before. We see that as kids, they went to Metropolis and they saw the Golden Age Green Lantern battling a villain, and that this was, I guess, a formative experience for Batman. I do love the line. He's just like, a couple months later, my parents were killed. Soon after that, my parents were killed, and I hardly saw Tommy again.
Yeah, this was the Green Lantern versus the Icicle, and they're like, "Oh, it's cool." Their dad had told them to like wait right there while he and Alfred ran in to do something, and Tommy's like, "We gotta go check this out." And Bruce is like, "I don't wanna," and Tommy's like, "We gotta." So they both got grounded and couldn't leave the hotel room, and then they stopped being friends because his parents died. So that's what happened.
Which, like, structure, like, I mean, I'm thinking like single parent Alfred and single Tommy mom. Like, we need to get this kid a play date. Like, I need some time to myself. I need to do some chores, some errands, maybe go on a few dates. I feel like they would have structured some play dates together.
I feel like they would have spent more time together as a result of both of them having lost parents in car crashes and both of them being little rich kids and both of them already being friends.
Yeah, you would think. But instead,
Master Bruce, do you want to see your friend Tommy, perhaps? I know you look sad. And then, like, oppositely, like, Tommy, do you want to go hang out at Bruce's house? He's got Stratego.
No, he's got let attack. Now I'm thinking of what's that Zelda game where that guy they're doing a sploosh. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. In Wind Waker, he's got a little Minesweeper type. Or
let attack, sploosh. I want them to play that. Okay, so Tommy is worried that in the current day, Tommy is worried that Bruce didn't give himself adequate time to heal.
They're drinking whiskey in a car, by the way. Bruce Wayne, he's got like a little like whiskey glass. He's got to be on massive painkillers, right?
He was like paralyzed. What?
He was paralyzed 2 issues ago.
Yeah, a few months ago, a few days ago.
Yeah,
he's got to be on massive painkillers. And that's not that's our some of our friends read comics. Don't mix oxy with alcohol today.
Probably not. So Bruce is not worried about what Tommy's saying. He's thinking about Selena still. Thinking about how they met on that roof, kissed, gave her a device to call him if she finds poison ivy, and she's like, if I find her first, I'm going after her first. Tommy's like, you're thinking about girls, aren't you? Hey, you want to schedule some time to play our antique war game again? Then we see Clark and Lois at the Daily Planet talking about work. Lois Lane has been a journalist for how many decades?
Did you like this? Lois Lane can't spell.
She can't spell the word therapist. And then she goes, wait a minute.
She's just hung up on... Somebody just saw SNL Celebrity Jeopardy 4 years ago, Jeph Loeb.
Yes.
I'll take the rapists for 200.
Yeah.
This is a levity and humor. I got more focused on the fact that Batman has an instant messaging program written in Mac pre-OS X.
Yeah, I like that he's just like, hold on 1 second, I gotta get on AIM and message Oracle.
So hold on.
What the hell was that?
So hold on. We do learn, I guess this is in continuity, but Bruce owns the Daily Planet now?
Yes.
Yeah. So why couldn't he install his own Oracle Instant Messenger into every computer that he can access when he needs to? Why not?
And it's B and O and it's pre-OS X, so it has like the little Oh my gosh, it's just hilarious. It makes me so happy.
Funny. I
hope Batman has a cool away message.
Gonna go drive my Porsche. Hope nothing bad happens.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I broke.
I'm playing
Porsche.
a game on another screen. Lois flirts with Bruce a little bit, and then afterwards apologizes to Clark, and she's like, I want to know what Bruce was really doing here. And she kind of whispers to Clark, hey, there's only one way to find out. Y'all have fun flying around in your tights there.
Does she know he's Batman?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the impression.
After they're married.
Yeah.
Okay. And I like that he's also like, Perry White's too smart not to know also. So I bet Perry
is he?
Wait, what? Where did that? I don't know.
He says that. Batman
Bruce
says
it.
In like his
I
head.
don't know why he thinks Perry White is so smart.
Is Perry White even a reporter? Does he have a reporting background? We need flashbacks.
I guess he had a background, but he's been like the head of the Daily Planet for however long. Like he's not out there. He doesn't have boots on the ground.
Yeah. He's not that kind of guy. So then Batman goes to LexCorp, which is now run by Talia al Ghul. What's she calling herself? Not al Ghul. Talia something.
Head.
Head.
Death's Head or something.
Yeah. Because Lex Luthor is president of the U.S. now, and Talia.
He had to divest his interest because he doesn't want to have a conflict of interest as president. He definitely wouldn't want to have like foreign emissaries like buy hotel rooms at his hotels to influence his favor, or perhaps have like a department head of government efficiency give sweetheart contracts to him from NASA. This would be terrible. So Lex Luthor, super honorable, is like, I will put everything in a blind trust, or I will let somebody else follow it, because he's a good guy.
I'll let the daughter of a different supervillain manage my assets. Yeah. That's fine.
Hey, he's not in the day-to-day of LexCorp. He doesn't know. Although
that's all that matters.
I think they even say, like, obviously he's gonna fucking give sweetheart deals and government contracts to LexCorp.
Yeah,
for sure. So Bruce is there because he's looking for a company that makes ethylene. And then he gets a buzz from Catwoman, and he basically has to go. And I don't know if we're going to see Talia again. I think this was just to make sure we get Talia in there for a page.
Yeah,
she's hot.
I do like that he's like, oh yeah, I used to be in love with her, but I'm not anymore. Now I'm in love with Celine.
What's with the ethylene? I don't remember where that came from. Why he was?
I guess it's how they're tracking Poison Ivy to Metropolis in the first place.
Okay, cool. He gets a buzz from Catwoman, and he meets up with her. They're on the way to Ivy. She's found him. And Catwoman attacks, and then Batman comes in afterwards. But Poison Ivy has some help too. She's got Superman, who comes in under her mind control. How did that happen? When did that happen? That was fast. Last we saw, Superman was gearing up to head out.
Didn't we just see Jim Lee draw this in All-Star Batman and Superman?
Maybe.
I feel like Superman fought Batman.
I mean, yeah, it does feel like it happens all the time. It happened, I mean, back in The Dark Knight Returns for the first time.
Honestly, it did have me thinking about like what was the one where everyone's evil?
Injustice.
It had me thinking about Injustice.
You're right. This is exactly when I thought, like, maybe we should do Injustice 2 on this show.
Yes, that's what I was like. Injustice was like
Injustice was actually funny though.
Exactly. It's like kind of yeah.
That's your drunk read on a beach if you want to see everybody.
Yes, that's a proper drunk beach read. This is like it's a good enough beach read. You're like, okay, I read a story, but that's like this is what I want on the beach.
I will say Jim Lee's art is good. It's like
good.
It's way too fan servicey. Like Lois falling, or I guess is that next issue when Lois falls off a building.
Yes, yeah.
Where you're just like, well, we have to make sure we see her underwear.
Well, I mean, of
course.
Like,
okay, guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. So part 5, let's jump in the battle. Selina and Bruce are like, oh shit, it's Superman. They jump in the water. They go down under LexCorp into the tunnels. Bruce gets his kryptonite ring out. And he'll plan to fight while she goes to kidnap someone that Bruce cares about from the Daily Planet and gives her 3 names to choose from, and she chooses Lois. Good thing she chose Lois. Why didn't you just tell her to do that, Batman? That's clearly the best option.
Because then she would discover his secret identity, I guess.
I don't know.
He should have labeled Clark as a potential, like kidnap him if he's available. And like, where did he go? I guess kidnap Lois instead.
Yeah, that's a smart way to do it. So they share another quick kiss. Then Superman shows up after Catwoman leaves, and they fight till they get outside. And Bruce says, "Hey, look up." And Catwoman has Lois on a flagpole, and then drops her. And she falls, and we see her lace bra a little bit, because that's what happens when you fall. And it works. Clark snaps out of it.
The girls are pressed together correctly in this fall. They're not. It is. Jim Lee, that's not a natural fall.
No, yeah. I feel like the wind would push them in opposite directions.
Yeah, that's an accurate statement.
Yeah. But it's enough to snap Clark out of it. And then Superman, and they're like, okay, we're fine now. And Superman and Batman come up to Poison Ivy in her hotel room because Crypto the Super Dog led them there. Hey, gotta have him in there.
I was actually delighted by this. I'm like, why aren't we doing this all the time? Like, if we're just trying to.
I was gonna say, was James Gunn reading this book?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, we got to bring back Crypto. He's in Hush.
I love Crypto.
Catwoman is there too. She punches Ivy out. Superman and Batman talk about the day. And then the bandaged man watches them through binoculars. What are friends for? He says. Okay, all right.
He says, ha 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 ha. And there's a picture of Harley Quinn. Is Hush the Joker?
Oh yeah, where is that ha 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 coming from? Is that coming from him?
I think so.
You're right, I didn't notice that. But next issue, we got Harley Quinn on the cover. Part 6, the opera. Batman knows he's got a mystery man on him, but he's going to the opera. It's some kind of a benefit for Leslie Tompkins.
Yeah, it's another doctor friend.
He's got a lot of doctor friends, and Tommy is kind of running this thing.
Not the one he called.
Nope.
Mm-hmm. Didn't even think. Well, she's more of like a psychiatrist.
Okay.
Yeah. At first, I was like, "Who? Leslie? Who's Leslie? Is that Tommy's mom?" But no, separate person.
No, a different Tom. Tompkins, not Thomas Wayne, not Tommy Elliott.
Yep. His name's not Tommy Tompkins.
Yes. But also, Bruce Wayne brought Selina Kyle as his date.
No.
He brought her to the...
No, he didn't.
She's just there?
She's just there. She was invited separately by Tommy, and she says, "Oh yeah, I've known him, and he invited me here. I'm technically his date."
How have they not crossed into any circles in the last 30 years?
It's
they're rich Gothamites.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the four of them.
Like in Philly, though, didn't he?
Did he?
I think they said like, oh, he'll be on the next train or flight from Philly to Gotham. I think they said that when he did the Morse code scene.
So look, Tommy is best friends with Bruce Wayne and knows Selina Kyle well enough that there is a opera box of 4 people, and it's Tommy and Leslie who are running this whole thing, and Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle. That's how close Selina Kyle is to Tommy. That she didn't expect her and Bruce to know each other, but wanted her up in that box. That's how close they are.
That only makes sense if somebody's a supervillain trying to put these things together.
Might be. All right. So show starts. Selina does not know that Bruce is Batman, by the way, here. Bruce knows that Selina's Batman. Is Batman.
It's Bruce Wayne's like, I bet that Selina Kyle is Batman.
But the show is interrupted because Harley Quinn is robbing the opera. She smashes some stuff.
Opera schmopera.
Opera schmopera. Tommy's like, this is outrageous. I'm calling the police. And Harley Quinn kicks the phone out of his hand. Nobody else has a phone in the audience, so she doesn't have to worry about anyone else calling the police.
It's 2002. No one has a singular contract at all.
No, only rich surgeons can afford a cell phone plan.
Those Nokias were huge at that time.
Harley jumps up to the box and she robs everyone up there. Takes a pendant from Tommy, and Bruce remembers a memory. It was given to him by his mom. And at one point, Bruce tried to take it, and Tommy got so mad. I'm convinced these two were never actually friends. There's no positive scenes with any of them that are at all heartwarming. These two are actually friends. Selina looks for Bruce, and Leslie's like, "Oh, he disappeared to find help." I'm like, "Oh man!" And Leslie knows that Selina's Catwoman. I was like, "Get to work! Don't let anyone get hurt."
Oh, was she like her, like, girl in the chair or something in Brubaker's run?
I think she might have been.
Or she was, like, advising her or something, I think.
Yeah, I feel like she was in No Man's Land in some way.
Yeah, I feel like she was in Brubaker and Cook's run, now that I'm thinking of it. Like, or at least, like, maybe a psychiatrist she, like, talked to for advice.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So then Batman shows up, fighting Harley. He's not actually doing that great. His head still hurts. 4 issues later, this is the first time he's mentioned that he's still kind of feeling the effects of being paralyzed. He's got a gun to his head. Catwoman shows up to save him. And Catwoman gets shot in the shoulder. Batman kind of catches her. And Catwoman says, "Hey, if you ever catch me again, instead of going after the bad guy, I'll kill you," or something like that. And Leslie brings a doctor's kit. Tells Batman to go. She'll take care of Catwoman. Harley is escaping, but Tommy is going after his pendant, trying to get it. Batman gets to the alley and he sees kind of like a ring or something on the ground. He's like, "That's Catwoman. They've been through here." And then he gets outside and to the alley and he finds Joker lying over Tommy's seemingly maybe dead body clutching the pendant. His eyes are still open, but he's got blood on his chest. And the Joker's laughing, looking all jokery.
Mm-hmm.
And that's issue 6. That's what a cliffhanger to leave
What
it
a
off on.
cliffhanger.
Is this Dr. Hush? Is he the bad guy?
He looks like he's dead. I might be wrong.
R.I.P. Tommy.
I might be
then
wrong.
why would you introduce this character and spend so long on really dumb flashback scenes only to kill him off?
Because Batman now has somebody to care about. So you killed Tommy. I need to have stakes again. This is like how you gotta invent new people in his life to keep dying. So you can.
Yeah, instead of a girlfriend, it's his childhood enemy.
Yep, frenemy.
Yeah.
Yep. That's probably it. It's probably Hush. Probably isn't this new childhood friend we've never seen before.
It's probably like the sister of the childhood friend.
Yeah, we didn't see the scenes. We're gonna learn about how he had an older sibling, who they thought died in a different car crash a year before the first car crash, but the body was never found.
Yeah, that's it, definitely. Or like a trio of best friends.
Oh, it could be anything, really.
Yeah.
They got to fill in more of Batman's friend story.
Yeah. He's got another friend, but their parent died a lot earlier, so that's why they got kicked out of the group.
Remember when Bruce was at daycare and he had an instant connection with someone else? They would watch cartoons and sit next to each other so quietly.
But they were told to hush all the time at daycare because they were playing too much.
That's where they got the name from. We'll just finish the story. We'll get the real story. We'll do that next time, everybody. We're going to finish Hush. We're going to continue with issues 614 through 619, last 6 issues. But now it's time for Thunderbolts. I almost ended the show.
Do we want to
as you say, first we should wrap up at least the first half of this.
You're right.
I think we've made it a little clearer, but
it kind of sucks. That's my opinion. Chris, what do you got?
I really didn't like this at all. I thought the second issue of this was comically bad. It then becomes just the supervillain of the week sort of video gamey style kind of thing where I'm like, this is acceptable enough. But that second issue is comically bad, where you're just like, they should have just started over. It sucks so bad.
Just throw out Jim Lee's art. Just do it again.
Yeah, just be like, sorry, this is nothing. Like, do something with this issue instead of doing like a Nightfall in one issue where he's instantly cured. It's so stupid.
Anything else from you?
Jim Lee's art is fine. Again, we already mentioned the cheesecakey stuff. There's a lot they take advantage of Catwoman, got a new design in Darwin Cook's Catwoman and Ed Brubaker's series. So it's a cool design. So he doesn't ruin that one. He just ruins Huntress and ruins Killer Croc and anything else he touches in terms of design.
He redesigned everybody in the New 52. That was supposed to be like a big selling point, and every single one of those costumes sucked.
So bad at design. I don't understand why anyone would think Jim Lee would be good at that. Again, like Darwin Cook, like him drawing someone else's design, I'm like, it looks fine. But like every other character that he like makes a new look for, I'm like, this stinks.
Yeah.
It's also weird. Everyone's out of character. This is like Harley Quinn is full like cartoon. Arlene Sorkin Harley Quinn. Like she's even like doing a huge accent and everything, and she's the Joker's girlfriend, and it's just like, this was not in continuity at the time. This is just like, whatever, just get her in here. We're getting everybody in here. It's frustrating. And the Batman Superman fight is such a worse version of Dark Knight Returns. Like Batman isn't even in any danger, and like he had his back broken by falling weird.
Yep.
3 issues earlier, and he's like, yeah, but I could easily defeat Superman. He sucks. It's so stupid.
Yeah, wait a minute. Hold on. He fought Superman after his paralysis, but Harley Quinn was too much for him?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he was planned for Superman.
He had a ring. Harley Quinn, you can't use kryptonite on her.
No ring for her.
No ring.
He was too distracted by watching Catwoman and Harley Quinn fight because he was too aroused by the two of them fighting each other.
That's got to be it. All right, Vince.
I like it.
Yeah.
It is 100% dumb. I like the Poison Ivy design. I think it's really cool. It kind of made me want to see what Tim. I mean, it reminded me a lot of Dark Victory and Long Halloween. Like in terms of, I thought Tim Sale could have done a really good job with that design. I think it's stupid that like this book is called Batman Hush and everybody talks about it, and Hush is like not in this at all, and there's not even like a this is the main bad guy kind of thing. It's like it's a dude in shadows. It's even less than like Dudes in Shadows or the Clone Saga. That's how like unthought out it is.
Well, Vince, I have good news for you about the resolution of this.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna spoil it for.
It's going to be even dumber.
Oh, I know it's dumb. Like I remember hearing it. I'm like, really? That's the villain? Kia, the villain, by the way, who hushes, has not been introduced yet.
I think I'm remembering who it is.
Yeah,
I think I remember.
There's a top villain?
Yeah, because Hush, I mean, I don't even think it's a spoiler. It's Tommy.
That's what I thought.
Obviously Tommy.
It is?
Okay. But who is manipulating Tommy? Who's the real mastermind? We don't know.
There's a mastermind behind Hush? I just assumed that villain was Hush. Okay, interesting.
No, we're going to get to it. It's so
okay.
stupid.
I will always say, though, that because I am a stupid reader, and I think because Chris is always like putting the pieces together, like, can't you see where this is going? I'm like, no, I don't see where anything is going. I am always surprised by a 5th or 6th issue Joker reveal. every time.
Hold on, Harley Quinn was there, and you were still surprised by a Joker reveal?
Yep, 100%, 100%. Still shocked that he was on the final page of this issue. Shocked every time. Every time I'm like, yes. And I'm like, give me more. I want the next issue right now. It's a simple read. I think the art, I like it better than the other Jim Lee art stuff I've read, like mostly All-Star Batman and Superman, or Batman and Robin. So I think the art's good. Jeph Loeb's what he is. I don't know where this compares to Long Halloween or Dark Victory. Probably not as good because I'd like the mob sniping and the mob mysteries a little more, which is like in the Penguin series, like the Sophia Falcone and that kind of stuff, just done better.
It is amazing how well the Penguin series fixed his terrible plotting into something good.
Yeah. I've only seen like 2 or 3 episodes of that, but yes, that one is also reminding me a lot of past Jeph Loeb Batman stuff we've read. So, I mean, I probably 3rd on the tier list of the Jeph Loeb year-long books.
But in the same way that like The Boys was made good into a show, where they're like, well, we saw this, we have to adapt it and fix it.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, it's fine. I don't think it's like egregiously terrible. I've read worse books. I don't think it's that boring, but I think it's possible because it's just like popcorn. It's just one ear out the other. Yeah. So I don't really hate it that much.
Fair.
Yeah.
I got nothing else to say about it. I feel like we've covered everything. We'll talk more next time. Yeah. I feel like I barely retained anything from these 6 issues anyways. It's just kind of there. And, on the beach, like the waves crashing against the sand and slipping away like each individual grain.
Yeah.
Is that art?
Yes.
Is that a poem? Thank you.
Sounds like it.
And when there's only one set of footprints, that's when Batman was carrying you.
That's when Batman...
Until somebody cut the rope.
Then Batman fell flat in the sand. All right, on to Thunderbolts here. Issue number 11. We're getting really close to the end of these first 12 here. Last issue, Thunderbolts number 10, shit hit the fan. Zemo threw their plan out the window. They all, he revealed that they were all secretly villains and exploded for Freedom's Plaza, and they got the fuck out of there. So we open on a country in Middle America called Santo Rico. At the capital, Libertad.
Is it supposed to be Puerto Rico?
It's
no, it's an original Marvel Universe country.
Tiny Central American nation of Santo Rico, yeah.
Yep. They have a statue for the time that Giant Man and Wasp defeated El Toro there, which the little captions tell us is a reference to Tales to Astonish number 54. Thank you, Kurt.
Yeah.
The military here is forcing the country into its control under military rule. And it's not just this place, it's happening everywhere. And their demands are surrender to the rule of Zemo. We jump to the Fantastic Four and the Avengers. They're back from the whole Onslaught thing, the Heroes Reborn business. They are talking on video. They're having a Zoom call. They don't know how Zemo got control of so many people or how they did it. And they haven't seen Zemo in weeks, ever since they blew up Four Freedoms Plaza last issue. And we see the team is up in space on their spaceship that they had. They're up in space. Haley, a.k.a. Jolt, she's a stowaway up in the vents. She still can't believe it's happening. The Masters of Evil. She's been with them all along.
And if you're wondering what she eats and breathes and other science facts, just remember it's a comic. Really just relax.
Really just relax. Abe is pacing around up there. Meteorite is like, "Hey, what's wrong, Beetle? You don't want to be one of the rulers of the world when Zemo succeeds?" And Abe is like, "Don't call me Beetle. I kind of just liked it when people liked me. I don't really want to rule them, you know." Moonstone, aka Meteorite, is definitely asking questions to kind of get him thinking about this more often. Fixer, meanwhile, gives Zemo an update. 36.
Call him Techno. Don't call him Fixer.
Hold on, we'll get to that. He's still Fixer. And 36 countries have fallen, and Zemo is thrilled. If they had gone with their original plan of waiting for access, they wouldn't be nearly as far along. But instead, they went with this better plan of duplicating a biomodem or something. And this happened in Spider-Man Team-Up number 7. And they used that to mind control the military by zapping them through computer screens. And that's how they gained mind control powers over the military. Okay,
it's kind of
just accept it.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of like, this has not been established in the book at all.
Nope. But we saw lasers. We saw lasers come out of computer screens. So
true.
That's all it takes.
Yep.
And then Fixer is like, "Hey, you want to tap in anywhere? My new robot body. I'm connected to this whole ship. I can tap you in wherever you want." And then he says he does prefer Techno because it fits his robot body better.
I love how Zemo is just humoring him. He's like, yeah, you have a cool robot body now. That's great.
So Techno patches Zemo into TV screens all over the world. And he basically just says, like, surrender or I'll crush you all. Tell your governments to surrender and it'll be easier for you. And some Balkan country is, like, resisting, so he fires missiles and destroys them. Okay, cool. Zemo keeps gloating. Jolt is watching. She's like, "Oh, something in his voice I can't identify." I really like how Techno just can't stop gloating. He's like, "Hey, do you like the way I instant translated you for every country? Do you like that?" And Zemo's talking. And Jolt realizes the difference in Zemo's voice is that Zemo is enjoying this. He's loving it. In Manhattan, we go to the mayor's office. Dallas Reardon, the mayor's aide, who Atlas is in love with, she's there. And the mayor is like, "Oh, we're getting a call from Atlas. They're trying to patch into the video call." Yeah. And I like how there's two random people off to the side. They go, "Run on the trace. Run on the trace, man. Run on the trace. Gotta trace the call." And Atlas
spaceship.
Yeah. Atlas tries to apologize, but she just yells at him, and then they get cut off. We see Zemo appear on the screen behind Atlas, being like, "Why would you compromise risking security? Women are a weakness. Do not do that again." Techno mentions...
This is always where I'm like, look, I'm okay with the fascism, but, like, let's be a little less sexist and misogynist.
Yeah. Come on. Sexist, too. Whoa.
That's too far.
Too far.
This... child of a literal 1930s, German fascist. I don't like this guy's politics, actually.
So Techno's like, "It's fine. We have an encryption cloaking module. They haven't been able to find us," which gives Jolt an idea. And she jumps in to meet the others and like, "Hey, I've been a stowaway this whole time. And I think I know how to take Zemo down, but I'm going to need your help." And she's like, "Oh, I know you guys aren't the cold-hearted killers you're made out to be." But Moonstone starts talking. It feels like Jolt is not sure if she trusts Moonstone. She's like, "Are you just going to like rise up and try to take Zemo's place?" But Zemo shows up right then and there. Like, "Y'all think I'm stupid? Justin, Atlas, come back to your master." And he does. He walks back over to his side, and he zaps all the others with some agonizer device that he made. Moonstone's like, "But I knew you were going to make that agonizer device, and I had Mach 1 make a jammer, so we're all fine, actually." And Zemo orders Techno and Atlas to kill them, so they have a big old fight.
It's kind of silly that Atlas is like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it is a little bit silly. Yeah. But they did kind of describe him as like a good soldier, etc.
Yeah.
And he, like, they're kind of purposefully trying to jab at that a little bit. Like, oh, he's just a good soldier. He'll do whatever he's told. Like, in a way to kind of, I don't know, try to get him out of it. But it's also not really working. He really is just being a good soldier.
Yeah, you're like, you're too stupid even for this to fall for this. Come on, man. Especially when Zemo's like, yeah, I'm gonna kill these guys. You know, your friends. I'm gonna murder them.
Yeah, no problem. Let's get to fight.
Cool. I'm gonna get my girlfriend back though.
Yeah, he did say you'll even get to be with the Reardon girl if you want. So pretty dumb. Maybe that was enough. Songbird is having a hard time fighting, and Mach 1 is like, hey, they're not your friends. Got to remember that. Jolt goes off and destroys the cloaking module.
I do like that moment when Songbird's like, wait a minute. Techno is not a human. I can like actually fuck him up like I fucked up those elements of doom a couple of issues ago. And he's like, well, that's also well and good, but I'm actually not. I don't have human anatomy, so you can't actually hurt me.
What else happens here? Moonstone has a real good like badass like you're not going to take me down. I'm going to keep advancing on you despite being attacked moment, like pushing through the fire.
That was my quote.
Oh, yeah, it was a good quote.
Cram your mercies in a sack, mister.
Cram your mercies in a sack. And it looks like she's about to get on them, but there's a big old explosion. The Avengers and the Fantastic Four have showed up. And Moonstone has never been this happy to see so many heroes. And Zemo's like, oh, really? Are you happy? Because guess what? I already used my biomodem mind controlling on them before they even docked. And now they're all under my control. And that's the cliffhanger.
Even Captain America?
Even Captain America.
He's got the strongest willpower of all of them. He's going to break out just like he broke out of Morgan Le Fay's.
He got zapped by a computer monitor.
What if he sees part of Lois Lane's bra? That'll snap him out of it.
Yeah, I think Captain America's gonna be the first to break. Hawkeye and Iron Man is here are the biggest liabilities. They're probably gonna be in it the longest.
Yeah, probably.
I do love this moment from Moonstone because like Moonstone's been like so like she's been manipulating everyone and being so like clever and cute about this, and she's like, no, actually, like screw these guys. Like I don't want Zemo to win, and is like actively fighting against him. I'm like, this is great. Like this is why I for the next like 20 years I was like, oh, I like Moonstone, and even though like they never did anything else with her character other than like she's manipulative. And kind of evil. Like this is why I like the character is because like this is cool.
And her character does just get so great throughout the rest of this run, I think. But that's issue number 11. Next time, the finale of the big first 12, which I'm not even sure if this was meant to be just a 12-issue series that kept on going. I don't know if we talked about that, but kind of caps off the first story there. So we'll do that next time, and then we're gonna finish Hush next time. We're gonna finish 2 stories next time.
Whoa!
I do love that the cover because they used to have Citizen V on the cover in the corner, and this issue they just have the Baron Zemo instead of in the little corner there just for his old costume.
It is nice.
Like, that's pretty cool. We don't have to pretend anymore. He's got his fur-trimmed, crazy purple costume.
That's on issue 12 as well. A nice wraparound cover for issue 12. It's a double-sized issue. Big one.
I like how it was like featuring the Avengers and the Fantastic Four. It's gonna be a jam-packed issue.
And everyone's in this. Yeah, after issue 13, they start using other characters in the little thing. They have Moonstone, and then I guess it stays with Moonstone for a while.
Spoiler alert: is Moonstone going to survive?
All right, I think that's it for this episode. Okay, anything to say about this issue? We didn't actually talk about. Yeah,
it's really good. It is like a setup issue for the big finale, but I do enjoy this. I liked Moonstone like confronting, sort of like diagnosing them, just being like, look, like you guys didn't actually like being villains because that wasn't really what it was all about. Like you're actually more fulfilled doing what you were doing, and that's why you're not happy working for Zemo now.
Yeah. I do feel like Jolt went in a little half cocked with like trying to like I'm gonna convince all of them to fight against Zemo, and I'm like Moonstone is right there. I don't feel like we know where she's lying in this. She could betray you easily. Like I feel like you could probably get Atlas and Songbird on board, but I don't know about Moonstone. I would have been a little more surreptitious.
Yeah, I would like try to figure out what's jamming their signal or whatever that's keeping the other heroes from finding their space station or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe shut that off instead of. I guess she does do that eventually.
Yeah, but like I guess her plan was create a distraction so she could go do that with the big fight. But nobody was hanging out next to that thing. She could have just gone and destroyed it.
Yeah, right. She could have just done that and then like been like, oh yeah, because like we're all a team in a way. If you think about it, it's just like made up something.
But any other thoughts about this? It was fun. I agree that Atlas being a villain was the dumbest part, but we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, that was disappointing, especially because like I feel like he's gotten as much characterization as some of the other characters. So him just being like, "Duh, okay, I'll work for Zemo." Just they wanted to even out the sides a little bit more than like actually making sense.
Yeah, create a little drama of the good soldier. Is he going to bust out of Zemo's control? Who knows? He's not mind controlled.
Well, because I feel like Moonstone is the one that you could, she'll be on Zemo's team just long enough to betray him. Like I feel like she would betray everyone to win, so she could be on either team.
But we'll find out next time. We'll finish that story. I think that's everything we got here. Chris, what's up with the Your Stupid Minds podcast? Y'all do some Christmassy stuff?
Yes, we just did an episode a couple of weeks ago. With professional wrestler Chris Jericho called The Country Hearts Christmas. And we're going to be reviewing, I don't know, something that Nick saw. He's been on vacation. Something he saw on vacation is going to be our next episode. So we'll stay tuned for that. It should be out in the next few days.
But for clarity, are you saying Chris Jericho was in the movie you just watched, or he was on the podcast reviewing it with you?
He was in the movie. Is the movie A Country Hearts Christmas. Playing a former rock star, now I guess rancher. He has horses, and he cares so much about the spirit of Christmas.
Okay.
Are y'all going to be gearing up for any of your like worst of 2004 stuff? I always feel like those are fun. Like your worst.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to do the worst of 2004 because that was 21 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2024. Thank you. Thank you.
We may. I feel like we've done a fair amount of 2004 movies. I will say, it's not going to be the next episode, but down the line, everyone keep in mind, Vince is probably going to be on the podcast because we've got an idea.
I've done my 10 years.
We're gonna bring Vince back for a movie that previously it's been movies that people like have been Vince episodes, but this one is a movie everyone hates.
But Vince likes, so it'll be fun.
But only Vince likes.
What is it?
We'll tell you when we tell you.
Right.
We have a schedule.
Once we're closer to a date, we can tell you. We haven't actually scheduled.
I think it was like early 2015 that I came in and just talked trash about Batman Returns for an hour and a half, and then I have not been invited back for 10 years. So
I also don't like
that
that
pretty
movie.
Bad. It's a pretty bad movie.
People love it.
It does
people
not hold
love
up.
Batman Returns because it's about Christmas, I guess. I don't know.
But yeah, I'm excited for that. Your Madam Web episode was really good. Your Borderlands episode was really good. I'm sure Kraven the Hunter is probably on the horizon.
Thank you. We will probably do Kraven the Hunter at some point. I don't think I'm going to see it in theaters because I think it's already out of theaters.
Vince, you got anything to plug?
I don't have anything to plug, but tune in to Your Stupid Minds at some future date when I cover a movie. I'll be back on that show.
Yeah. I'm doing my podcast, my separate podcast, Worst Comics of 2004.
Oh, wow.
From 21 years ago. That's all we're doing. Follow that.
Infinite Crisis.
Dane Cook's MySpace page.
Yeah. The worst.
Comics.
No, we can do anything.
Worst comics. There were worse comics than Dane Cook. I feel like Dane Cook was okay then.
Yeah, sure.
I bet it's super problematic now looking back, right? Yeah.
I think Dane Cook was the Jeph Loeb of comic book.
I was about to say the Jeff Dunham of stand-up comics in 2000.
No, Jeff Dunham was the who's
he's kind of like the
he's a ventriloquist
post 9/11 Frank Miller.
Oh yeah.
Just very racist.
Jeff Dunham is the post 9/11 Frank Miller of stand-up comics.
That's right. That's right. Just racist. I mean, he has a puppet that's just a dead terrorist puppet. Come on.
That's true. He is he's very racist. Yeah, I think it might be right actually. All right. Well, great. Yeah, tune in next time. We'll tell you about which other comics line up with which comic book writers.
What stand-up comics and sit-down comics line up?
Stand-up comics and sit-down comics? That should be a thing. All right. I think we're ending this episode. Vince, I love you.
Love you too, bud.
Chris, I love you.
I don't have anything clever.
Oh my goodness, nothing?
No. Whatever Moonstone said about strangling you, your scrawny neck, something like that.
Okay.
Figure it out.
I mean, that sounds like love to me. I've had love like that.
All right.
Listener, we love you too. Have a great night. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.